welcome to All About the Joy, the private lounge. In the house is Cynthia, Rick, Mario, Alma. How you guys doing? Hello.
Hey,
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm loving the shirt.
I am. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm on spring break, so I'm doing great.
Oh, okay. Cool,
Yeah,
cool. I see like the mellowness,
yeah.
So
I just
I wanted to talk a little bit about your thoughts on Hollywood and the changes that are happening. I know that you guys, Alma and Mario, live here, so you probably have noticed there's not a lot of filming going around at all. Like there was a time when you would go anywhere and there would be film crews or whatever. Like you would drive, there'd be traffic, and you would know so and so is filming or whatever. It would just be kind of cool. But I haven't seen that in a long time. And we had the strikes, writers, actor strikes. But even before that, Hollywood was changing a bit, right? Because of the streaming services. So I just wanted to get your initial opinions on Hollywood, and then we could get down into the nitty gritty of what you think the problems might be.
They suck. No, I'm just joking. No, you know what? Like you said, living here, especially where we live, you saw film. You mentioned you see film crews everywhere. I did see one film crew over here in Santa Monica off Bundy just this past week. So there is something, and I noticed that a lot of the actors and directors are really pushing for film and television to come back to Los Angeles because a lot of people are losing their jobs here. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, Georgia and Las Vegas and Nevada, they're giving a lot of tax credits and incentives to come to their states. And people like Tyler Perry, who have built large stages and making big strides for, Black artists and directors and producers, which is great for them. And he has an amazing studio there where Marvel has taken all their filming. And that's a big chunk of a lot of media, cinema right now.
Well, a lot of cinema also is being filmed overseas.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the other part of it too, like Canada. Anything made it on Hallmark, by the way, is
London.
All in Canada.
Yeah.
London, overseas. Yeah.
Even here in Boston, like last year, we used to see a lot of trucks and trailers, and you always see the signs on the crew and, set up this way and crew this way. And I haven't seen any in a while.
It's a lot in Canada, though, isn't it? Like Stargate, wasn't that in Canada?
Oh, yeah. That's been going on for a long, long time. Yeah.
Like
I always laugh. Right. It was always like another ad. Like I always say that because when you're like an avid fan of Stargate SG-1, they always come through the wormhole or whatever it is. No, not the Stargate.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always like a different angle of the same forest.
So for me, the way that I've noticed it is a lot of the film crews tend to like to use the schools for craft services and to use their parking lots and things like that, or to film school scenes, even in the schools. So we would get a lot of that traffic, and then we'd get like a donation at the end. So they would rent it through the city of LA Films or whatever. That's who does all the contracts and all of that stuff. But then at the end, the film, the actual company would do a donation to the school for hosting them.
For people who don't know what craft services is, it's how everyone on a crew gets food. It's how they get to eat. Sorry, I just want to make sure because not everybody knows the lingo.
Yeah, no worries. So then that's how we've noticed, because a lot of those donations have dried up because there's not a lot of filming going on. So then, it is a trickle, like I said, trickle down. It really does trickle down, because even though you would see them filming in the communities and you're like, oh, they're just using that house. No, they actually, use the schools. They need places to park. Sometimes it's at the churches. Sometimes it's at the schools. It just, it all depends. And then in the end, they also go ahead and do a donation to wherever it is.
Right. And the reason why it matters too is because if you're filming in San Francisco or you're filming anywhere in Chino Hills or something, the whole crew will stay there. they'll have dinner there. They'll, maybe they'll grab a movie when they have, a nighttime off or something. Or so all the businesses end up losing out too. All the restaurants, all the other little places in whatever place they're in. And I know that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is trying to get the legislation to add some more tax incentives. But I think I want to bring it down to us as, someone asked me the other day, what would it take to get you back into the movie theater? And I'm like, Mara and Alma, I'm like, I go to the movie theater. I love being in the movie theater. But what they meant was, why aren't people going to the movie theaters anymore? And I think it's a combination of things, but I wanted to know what maybe you guys thought. Rick, Cynthia?
Honestly, I think ever since COVID, a lot of people kind of social distanced themselves, and now it's like they're like, oh, well, if I can stream it at home, why pay, $15, $20 to go to the movies? I can see it in my own house and be comfortable and not have to worry about getting sick from anybody else.
That's interesting. Was it happening before COVID? I don't even remember.
Yeah, streaming was already happening, but it hadn't taken off like it did.
Like it did during COVID. Yeah. I don't even remember.
I mean, one big thing is a lot of people complain it's so expensive. Like, I'm not going near hungry. No, you're already paying all this money for the ticket, and now you won't. No, so it's expensive. If you have a family, that's even worse. More kids you have, the more expensive. Like $100 for one night, and like, oh my god. But
that's not even an exaggeration.
No,
I know.
Wow.
No, I have friends with families. They're like, it's $100 for me to go to movies. But I think one other issue is too many remakes. Give me something new and original. Snow White bombed. Sorry, but they did not do well. Not with the remakes. Come up with new original stuff.
Well, Sinners is a brand new.
Yes, it is.
Movie, top to bottom, written and directed, 100% Rotten Tomatoes, and it is getting critical acclaim, even though it is considered a horror movie.
I'm not going to see it, but I support it.
But I support it. But they're saying there's so many subplots to the film that you have to see it in the theater.
People always say, I want something new and fresh, and then they don't go to the movie theater.
And then they don't go see it.
That's
but
true.
He did something really great and is doing really well so far this weekend.
Have you guys seen it already?
I have no desire.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm interested because I think that's the the thing that's really important is he's been promoting it. He's been on TikTok. He's been on all these interviews. He's been talking about it. He's been showing. And someone said this on LinkedIn. They said, I'm going to go see this just because he's showing kind of, I forget what it's called, the background, how he does it.
Yes.
Like how he's filming it or whatever. So he's showing all these other parts that's making people really intrigued to the making of it. That's what I'm trying to come up with.
I'm going to go see it, but it has to be daytime when I walk out.
Yeah, I'm not going to go see it until you guys tell me how scary it is. Then I'll go because it's not my genre. It's not my genre, but I want to support.
Ryan Coogler, right? He's the one that made that thing, and Michael B. Jordan. He's the one
you don't know who he is. You know who.
Not everybody knows who he is.
Oh my God! I thought you were quite. I was about to kick you off the show.
Rick knows who Ryan Coogler is.
Say his name if I didn't know who he was. Duh.
Did you hear how he said it? He said, "Ryan, is it Ryan Coogler?" I'm sorry, I had a little hot flash.
No, for those who are listening who don't know, Ryan Coogler directed Black Panther, Fruitvale Station, all the Black Panther films, but he's also he did Creed with Michael B. Jordan. So I
didn't even realize that I did not know that before. During Black Panther, I found out. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, they have a long
Get Out?
history.
Did he do Get Out too? Was that somebody
No,
else?
he did not.
No, that was Jordan Peele.
That's Jordan Peele.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I actually think the changes to Hollywood is something that can't be stopped. I think this is just my opinion. I think this idea that they can force people to go back into the theaters and not be in their home theaters, is kind of I don't know, like a bulldozer that everyone's trying to jump in front of, and complaining about it. And I'm like, I think you're going to have to make it important for me to go to the movie theater. not just me, because I'm an avid moviegoer, but people who never used, and you have to make it cheaper. You have to make it accessible. Like, I think, here's a great example. I used to go to the Bay Theater, which is here in the Palisades, one of my favorite theaters to go to. But every time you go there, you have to find parking. And it's not that easy to find parking in the Palisades, but they do have kind of this, like one of these big, huge parking things, and you pay like $5 or whatever. That's not normal in most places, but that's another addition. It's not just the food or whatever. It's also finding parking and not making it easy, so you don't have to walk 10 blocks, So I think they have to make it a whole different experience.
But just to go to a matinee I went to the matinee by myself, and it was $15 for a matinee. And I was like, wait. And then if you go for an evening show, you're talking about $23 to $24.
Just for one person?
For one
person.
I haven't gone to a nighttime movie.
That's not the dine-in.
That's not even the
dine-in. That's another
more.
$10, $15.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I go, wow.
And there you go. That's why people watch it at home. They're like, I'm going to cook a meal and I'm going to eat in front of my TV and be comfortable for free.
How about I can Uber Eats the meal and still be cheaper watching it from home?
And how about I pay that same $20 to stream it and have a whole house full of people who can watch it?
Yep.
That's the other thing too. That's for real.
Yeah.
And now that the movies come out, they're on screen for a week and then they're on streaming the week after.
That's kind of dumb on their part. Like, they should make it exclusive to the theater only for a longer period of time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
before it used to be in the movie theaters for what, like 3-4 months before you would even get it on pay-per-view.
Right.
Well, that's because it had legs, right? So that's part of that industry thing that people were going in to see the movie. If nobody's going into the movie theater to see the movie, they're trying to do like straight to video, right? You remember back in the day, there'd be some movies that would go straight to video because they would bomb in front of whatever. So it's kind of the same thing. Like if the box office, so I used to work for this guy, Paul Garabedian. All they do is box office numbers, and he's a pretty big deal now, right? And I mean, he always was, but it's just so funny. I said, we used to work for that mean guy. And but all they do is box office numbers, and it's kind of interesting to see his charts and everything that he does all the time, and how he talks about the movie industry and what's happening with the box office numbers. But that's what happens, Cynthia. If they put out a movie and it doesn't have legs, they put it on streaming because they know you'll watch it on streaming because you've already paid your subscription.
Right.
So.
Or you've watched everything on Netflix already and you're like, oh, let me just watch this low budget movie, see what this is about type of thing.
I was going to say, we just watched, what was it, G20?
Yes.
And we watched it on streaming. It's Viola.
Oh, Viola Davis. Good?
It was
we were like, we would have watched this at the movies.
I would have gone to the movies to see that.
Where is it on? What streaming
Prime.
is it on?
Amazon Prime.
I don't have that either now.
What's it called?
It's called G20 with Viola Davis, Anthony Anderson, Marseille Martin. The gentleman.
She's the president or something, right?
Yes, she is the president, and he's the first gentleman. But Rick, do you watch The Boys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the gentleman who plays Homelander.
Okay, yeah. Anthony Starr?
Yes, he is the villain in this story. He's a great villain. He plays a great villain. So it's a great storyline, and
it was good.
Yeah.
So I wonder why it was on Prime and not promoted as because you just said something that's really important. You're like, I would have seen this in the movie theater. I rarely hear anybody say that.
The storyline was good. It was action. It was suspenseful. I was like, oh, this was really good.
But because
that's another thing that they do though. But they make things just for Prime or just for Hulu, just for Paramount. Mm-hmm. Like instead of putting it out in the movie theater to see how it does, they just put it directly just on the streaming sites.
Can I be perfectly honest? Mm-hmm. They didn't put it in the movie theater because there's a black woman who was a lead.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna be perfectly
and
the president. And
I got the impression that she was like a female Black Rambo.
She is. She's a superhero. She basically
that sounds just like Viola Davis. Anyways, I just want to say,
but she
is badass. Yeah, I love her.
She kicked ass and took names. And her back, they developed. It was a fully developed backstory for her character as a
Is
president.
it just a movie or is it a series or
So
something?
it's just a movie.
And it was
That's
really
horrible.
good. It was
It was
really well
really
made.
good,
Mhm.
and it's #1 on Prime.
Wow.
It's
That
really
doesn't
good.
surprise me, but what surprises me is what you said, because I know you're right. I don't want to live in that world, but you're right. It's the
truth.
reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
That is
truth.
so sad because I trust your judgment when, like, I'm gonna see it. I'll pay for it and see it. I just feel like you said something before that struck me that I've never heard someone say. I would have watched that in the movie theater. I have never heard someone say that when they're watching it on their own home theaters. You know?
Yeah, it was that good.
That is so sad that racism is just continuously prevalent. But I think you're right. I don't think people would have gone to the movie theater. Now they would have if it was Denzel, right? People would have gone to see a movie if it was Denzel opening it.
No, not for this, and not because he's the president. I don't agree because of the social climate we're in right now. I think the time.
Oh, you mean because of the social climate we're in right now?
Yeah, I think if it came out 3 years ago, it would have done well. I think it would have done well, but I think it was a political move to do it that way, and that's kind of like what we're doing in the film industry as well. Film industry has politics underneath it as well.
Well, everything does.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to bring it to politics, but I'm talking. It's talking about. No, I don't want to. But
we're
it's
in the private room. You can say whatever you want.
It's dollars and cents. It's really about dollars and cents, and it's just about what makes sense to the industry in the moment. And I understand they really want to recover because we're not making Hollywood is not making the same type of money they used to.
They're never going to make the kind of money they used to.
Never.
Things have changed. That's my whole point. Like I'm sad. To me, Viola Davis is star power personified. Like I would think anything that she does, you would go and see in the movie theater. Like it wouldn't even question it. And that just makes me sad.
I was gonna say, unless the theaters in Hollywood figures out what they need to do to adapt, they're going to become Blockbuster Video. Blockbusters, no, we're not going to do streaming. And imagine if they went into that, they would have been so rich. But they're like, no, we're not doing that. Well, now you're gone.
Yeah,
I had to say.
The other thing with Ryan Coogler with this movie, he shopped his film around. He didn't go with Disney, and even though he's worked with Marvel and stuff like that in the past, Warner Brothers was the only studio that gave him full proprietorship of his material in terms of getting it back. Like after it does its rounds, all of that stuff goes back to him. Because they were the only studio that was willing to give him his own material back. Everybody else wanted to take it from him. Yeah, you can write and produce it, but we're going to own it. Warner Brothers was the only one to say, no, it's yours. We'll work as a distributor for your film, get our money back, get your money, but you own it. And that's important nowadays. So,
I mean, it's important, and I agree with you. I think that's part of the problem, right? It's like, so back in the day, and I'm not defending the studios, but I'm saying back in the day, the studios owned things. And so they promoted things, and they even had stars attached to their, studios. So you would see the same star over and over and over again in the same movies. It's kind of like, in a way, I'm not comparing the two, but if you notice, if you watch any Hallmark movies, right, they have the same stars and the same movies. It's the same show over and over and over again. But people watch it and it's the same stars because those stars are attached to that network, and and it's in a way it's kind of old Hollywood way. So I think there's that problem with it too. I hope he succeeds, and I think he will. Thank God. I mean, I hope he does. We'll see to what extent.
I might just buy a ticket and not go see it, but just to support it.
Why wouldn't you go? Oh, you don't like horror films?
I don't
either,
like horror, but
I just go see it. Look at Alma. Alma's like, I will be seeing that movie. It's all in her face.
You buy it for Cynthia's theater, and then there you go.
There you go. I'll buy your ticket, Cynthia, and I'll send it to you.
Well, wait. But Cynthia's gonna buy. She's gonna go anyway. So we want to support him. So we have to buy the ticket anyways.
Yeah, I'll buy Juan's ticket. I'll buy somebody's ticket, but I don't
Yeah.
So they could bring friends. You got an extra ticket.
They can bring friends, right? Yeah. I just yeah. So what about the audience influencing Hollywood? Or is Hollywood dictating what audiences want? So earlier you guys were talking about, I think it was Rick who was saying something about, repetitive movies that are sequels or whatever, right?
I think Hollywood is kind of deciding, because now it's like Disney is a good example. You have The Lion King, you have Snow White, and they're doing all these live actions. They're just remaking the same movie just in a live action. And some of them are good, some of them are not. Yep. And same with horror movies. Like, horror movies now are not the same as before. Like, you know what's going to happen. I know Carmen hates horror movies.
I'm not saying a word.
Like, you kind of already know what's going to happen in each horror movie, like, it's like nothing is new.
But do you seek new, like, there's so many indie films that nobody watches.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But like, I think they're not marketed. I think they're not marketed well. Like, if you want me to see something, I need to know it's out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like when we watch like all these Golden Globes and Oscars and stuff like that, and they talk about all these international films. It's like, where did they play on? Who saw them?
Everybody but us.
Exactly. And then they send you the DVDs or CDs or all so that we can stream them. And then I have to sit and watch like 9 stupid films, half of them with subtitles. And I say stupid because that's the worst way to watch it, in a rush, because you have to vote. You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst way to watch a film. And where am I doing it? On my computer or on my little TV, not in the movie theater. Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I think I told Rick this too. I think it would be a great idea. And he came up with this idea, not me. He said, would you go into the movie theaters and watch like old school movies that you haven't seen in a long time in the movie theaters? Like an Indiana Jones or a Star Wars or whatever.
I'm about to do it tomorrow.
Oh, when are you going to go see?
Pride and Prejudice. It's like their 20th
I love anniversary. That movie.
I'm going into the theater to go watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Not after watching it 25 times.
I hate time period pieces. I know where I'd be in that movie. I'm not trying to take away from it.
And like, we went to go see Purple Rain. Yeah. I made him go see White Christmas with me.
You gotta take Cynthia next.
So, just all of the. So we do that. We will go see.
Right. So he was saying, what if they did like a huge, big, like they promoted it too. Like, there's going to be, would people go back into the movie? I'm like, you got to do something, because if you want the theaters to survive, well, you have to market it to us and let us know. I think part of the problem is the reason why we don't see indie films. I never hear about, and I live here. I'm in the industry. I never hear about these indie films until the nominations come out. But
I'm even part of like the Sony screenings and the GoFobo screenings. So once in a while I'll get emails and say, oh, you're invited to come see a screening of, let's say, Sinners.
Yeah.
On this date and time. Like, they should do that, like with you, Carmen, while they send you the DVDs. Why don't they pick a theater and say, hey, we're going to have a screening of this movie on this day and time, so you guys can actually watch it in the theater, not at home or on the computer.
I'm saying, countrywide. Like, I'm saying, if they promoted the film, they said, listen, like, you'll see commercials, you'll see it on the bus, right? You'll see whatever that, I don't know, whatever movie it is, Indiana Jones is going to be in the theater, blah, 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 or The Color Purple, whatever it is, Out of Africa, remastered, blah, 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 2 days or this weekend only or something. I wonder if it would I think it would bring back Gen X people to the theaters. You know what I mean? It might do that. I thought it was a great idea, but I told him he needs to call the Academy, because the Academy is the one who owns and holds all those films. And there's a reason why they're not doing it.
They don't want to spend marketing dollars, honestly.
Of course not. but they don't want to spend money to make money. So I don't know what to tell them.
I just had another idea. So I just saw a trailer for another, I think it's the third one, Tron movie.
I saw that.
Insane. But why don't, before that one comes out, put on those first two way before?
Absolutely.
Do. You know,
and then all the people that don't know it.
Yeah. You know how I see do that all the time? I think it's Regal. Regal theaters will do that all the time. Because I remember when it was Indiana Jones, when they were going to put the new one out, they did a whole like week of all of the old, you know,
Indiana Jones
Lost Ark, the whole thing. You know, they had a whole marathon. And you could buy the whole marathon, or you could pick which ones you wanted to go to before you went to go see the new one.
I kind of miss it. I said it a million times. The last time I had so much fun in a movie theater was, you know, Endgame. I mean, I've seen movies since then that I enjoyed or whatever, but Endgame, it just felt like everybody was that communal feeling.
It. Yes.
Yeah, and
you were an Avenger.
Right. You know, just the crying and the whatever. It's true.
But that's what it was like when we went to go see Black Panther. Same thing. Yeah. Everyone was there. It was so good. Yeah.
Cheering.
Yes.
When was the last time you heard cheering in the movie theater?
Right. Yep.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, and we've lost.
And not to bring up horror movies again.
You can bring up horror movies. You just can't force me and Mario to go see them.
But the movie Halloween, like there's so many versions of Halloween, but I've seen them in the movie theaters, and it's like anytime you see Jamie Lee Curtis come on, you hear everybody clapping like because she's about to kick ass. You know what I mean? Like it's that whole like community feeling.
I didn't realize Jamie Lee Curtis was in those movies.
Yeah.
Oh my!
She's the OG. She's the OG.
I can't.
Queen.
I can't.
Yes, she
I had no idea that she's the one in the movie. Oh, I didn't know. I've never seen them. Why would I know?
You know who else is in that? Who's in that movie?
For anyone who can't see,
Kyle Richards.
My eyes.
As a kid.
Almost so mad. What, Mario? I couldn't hear you because Alma was dissing me with her eyes.
Kyle Richards from Housewives and all that.
Oh,
stuff. Yeah. She's the original kid with Jamie Lee Curtis in the original Halloween film.
I'm telling you, the other day I was watching a rerun of something and it got me mad because this is one thing I don't like. They put really horrible horror commercials, trailers in between. Like I'm watching the fucking Golden Girls and then there's like some horror thing coming on or whatever in between, promoting some scary thing or whatever. And I like turn it mute. I walk away. I am really like chicken shit or whatever you want to call it. I don't like anything horror.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Her mom was in one of the movies with her.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis's mother?
Yeah. Who played in Psycho.
Yeah.
You know the lady from Psycho?
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I had to see Psycho in film school, but I really didn't watch it.
She's like royalty. Jennifer Jason Leigh is her mom, and not Jennifer Jason Leigh, Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh. Yeah,
Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis.
Yeah, no, I know who she is, you know, and what's his name? Tony Curtis from back in the day, right? That's her father. And but I've never seen Halloween. What?
That makes me think of a question. Now, compared to like even 25 years ago, does the term movie star carry the same weight that it used to?
To me, it does.
I think so.
I live here, so I don't know why people are so mad.
I don't know about movie star. I think it's more celebrity now. It's not really.
But there are some movie stars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because Denzel is a movie star still.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is a movie star. No, I do. I think there is. I mean, I think there's celebrity. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either one of those terminologies. I know I think what's getting confusing or what's making it harder is, first of all the negativity in this country about anything to do with people who have any fame is weird. Like we want to blame everything on rich people. We always want to blame it on the wrong rich people. You know what I mean? And then the other thing I'll say is I think content creation, right? The content creation world, which is different from Hollywood, right? Which is like what's his name? What's the guy's name? can't remember his name.
Oh, the one that's he's yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, all the content creators who are
Mr.
big.
Beast, is that who you're talking
Yeah,
about?
Mr. Beast. Right. Wow, I'm really
on YouTube.
having a head fart in the moment. I'm like, I can't remember. But all of them, you know, like there's all this weird kind of like you become instantly famous on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and that's muddying the waters. But to me, I still think there's Hollywood royalty. And I, you know, movie star, I don't know. I still have that dream of the, you know, I see certain people, like you said, Denzel, Viola Davis. I think Meryl Streep. I think of the old school people. You know what I mean? Old school. What's her name? Who's in I think she's lovely. Selena Gomez. Is that her name?
Yeah.
You know, I think
her as a movie star, but I see her as a celebrity because she's done
celebrity. Yeah.
I see her as more TV than movie star. I don't see movie star.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say, like, I see up and coming, like there's possible Zendaya. I see people who have this possibility, you know what I mean? Because they're talented. Ariana Grande. Like I see possibilities in their talent and the way in which they present themselves. And, you know, like I see all that. So I'm just saying I think it's still there. I think we're losing a lot in society because we're very skeptical and negative and blaming and we don't, you know, I'm not trying to say it, but we don't have a lot of joy anymore. So
I think celebrities, they lost their mystique because of social media and because of TMZs and all the gossip well, the gossip rags used to do they've always been there, but it was more mystique because you didn't know for sure.
Right. You weren't positive. Now you can double check. Right?
So it's like, and it gave you fodder for conversation, and you know what I'm saying. But like you just didn't know, like the Doris days and all of those people, even way back when
James, it's a different time.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart's, the Charlton Heston,
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah,
and they just and
that's a legend.
And the thing is that they knew, I will say, they knew their role. They knew when they came out of their house, they presented themselves a certain way, you know. And now it's like, oh, whatever. They come out in their sweats and their whatever.
They look like a hot mess.
That doing, you know,
a hot boiling mess.
Yes. So it's definitely, you know.
It's also just a different time. I mean, I agree with you. Like we've lost a lot of that in just our world in general. Like I can't remember the last time I put on a suit to go to work. I don't. You know what I mean? Like when you just said sweats, I'm like, I wore sweats today. You know what I mean? Like, into the office, you know? But yeah, so and again, I agree with you. I miss the old school Hollywood, but when I see somebody like Zendaya, am I saying her name right? I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Zendaya,
right? Zendaya. I'm doing the Teresa thing, which is like saying it in Spanish. Like we know somebody that every time she meets somebody, like somehow their name becomes Spanish, even if they're not.
Yeah.
But it's cute. It's cute. Do you do the same thing? But yeah, like I see all the possibilities and the elegance, and maybe that's what it is. Hollywood celebrities, you know, now become not just a given just because you're in a movie, but now it really is more of a rarity, you know. And maybe the rest are just celebrities, you know. Like there's the Hollywood fanfare, and then there's, you know, that was one of my questions.
They used to have media training, and they used to have training about how you present. Like I'm gonna say, how you present yourself when you go out in public. You had a script, you stuck to it, and you know, and then you go in the house and mind your business, you know, and
then people would talk about you behind your back, right?
But that was fine because you didn't know for sure.
But then so there were pros and cons of that, right? So I'm going to push back a little bit because then you had things like people having to hide themselves from who they really were, like Rock Hudson, or right, or you couldn't be who you.
But the backlash of that also back then too.
But then you have it's the Britney Spears.
Yeah, I think it swung too much the other way where, we want to see them as real people. We want to know that they're real people. We want to know that they're relatable, that they're approachable, that they're this. So then it went all the way the other way, and it's never kind of, you know, it's not ever going to self-correct itself. everyone.
No, it's not, because it's part of our society now.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
way we all are. So,
Yes.
man, tomorrow I'm gonna get up and wear a nice suit to the office because I'm
No,
feeling
you're not.
I want a selfie.
I do.
I
Wow.
want
Do you guys wear suits when you go to the office?
No.
Like, just saying, it's been a long
I
time.
wear yoga pants and a t-shirt. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, well, I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
I think even
my
for
sweats
for
are
us,
nice
for,
sweats.
the schools, it's just being, presentable for the children. Nothing, that's going to be
So you're not wearing like little tassels and like a thong?
No.
right? But I mean, I think the only place they really have
Like dress code?
a dress code is at the main offices, and at the main headquarters, I'll say. But
People in banks still dress up. Still, if you walk into a bank, which is very rare that you do that.
I know, right? I was just gonna say.
Yeah, but when I do, because I have a mother who still likes to do it old school, so I have to go in the bank with her. Cool. But even when you go in, the tellers and the managers, they're all still Monday through Thursday. They're going to have a tie on. They're going to have trousers. They're going to have a blazer. They might not have a tie on, but they will have everything else on.
Maybe we need to bring it back.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, me neither. Somebody said that about planes. They were like, people used to dress up to get on a plane. I'm like, people used to smoke on a plane too, and I'm good with that.
Yeah,
exactly.
No.
And I'm gonna tell you now, because of all the, especially if you're in the union, if they want to have a dress code, then they have to give you an allowance for you to get.
I like that.
So then it's, so it's all dollars and cents again.
Yes. That's so sad. I'm gonna dress up in a suit tomorrow. Actually, I do have a big lunch date tomorrow, so I'm gonna be dressed up anyway. So.
You're gonna look at you and be like, "What's wrong with you, Carmen?"
I don't dress bad. Well, I guess I don't. I mean, I don't really. Yeah, I guess I don't. I always wear nice slacks, but I always have on a t-shirt forever. A really nice t-shirt, but a t-shirt. I have the same. Sorry, we're talking about this, but I have like 20 black t-shirts. They're all the same. Like I wear them all the time. It's just easier. That happened because of COVID.
So
remember, you'd have to get on your Zoom.
The Simon Cowell of All About the Joy.
Is that what he does? Oh shoot! Really? Oh, I gotta change it now.
That's gonna be your nickname.
Oh no! Nobody's happening.
I've noticed that with some podcasters. Like at first, I didn't pick it up, but not everybody, but there's a few, and I'm looking. I'm like, wait a minute. That dude wears the same color shirt every single time.
I do it on purpose. I do it so that I don't have to, first of all, be worried about it. And it happened during COVID. You'd have to be on all these Zoom calls with all these different people all day long. And then you realize, like, you know what? I'm just going to wear the same shirt. And then I was like, okay, I can't be wearing the same shirt. So I just bought because it was just easier, Because then you have people who would just dress like halfway and then they would get up and they'd have on shorts or I'm like, okay,
or no pants at all.
Okay, well, now we're going into a whole other avenue.
We're veering away from the topic now.
That's okay. It's kind of it goes where it's gonna go. Yeah. Let me see if I have any other. Do you think streaming services are hurting movies in Hollywood? I think they're hurting TV, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's hurting television, but not movies. Because if you're gonna go to the movie, you're gonna go to the movies. But streaming, I'm here for streaming for like reality stuff and a good series because like Alma and I are stuck right now on the Wheel of Time.
So good.
And what's the Wheel of Time? Where's that?
It's like sci-fi. Fantasy.
Yeah.
No, but where is it streaming?
Oh,
Prime.
Yeah, Prime.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And I'm stuck. I'm stuck on Stupid because I'm right there. I'm like, wait.
What season are you on?
We're in the middle of season 2. So,
how many seasons does it have?
3 so far.
Oh, okay. Is it a new show or it sounds like Rick's already seen
new?
It?
It's relatively new. I'm just catching up.
Well, Rick, have you already seen it?
I just started season 2.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right.
2. I'm busy watching This Is Us.
Oh,
that was worth every minute. Wait, did you finish This Is Us?
I'm on the 4th
you're in
season.
You gotta get in. You gotta get faster.
So I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. So with streaming, do you prefer the entire season to come out all at once, or do you prefer it to be like 2 episodes, wait till next week, 1 episode, a weekly thing? Like,
I like it when they do chunks. So they'll put out like 2 or 3, and then you wait, and then they'll put out another 2 or 3, and then I like it that way. But if they won't do it that way, if they're making me wait week to week, then I will wait until they're all out, and then I'll watch it. So
it depends on the show, because like I'm watching Daredevil. Like they give you the first 2, and then they pulled me in, and I'm waiting for the next week. So I'm going right back because I got through the first 2. I'm like, okay, now I got to find out what's going on now. So yeah, it just depends.
See, story matters.
Stories matter.
The story really matters, and the characters really need to connect with people. And I think that's the other part of it. Like, as much as people talk about sequels and talk about whatever, the reason why sequels do well, the reason why you're going to see yet another Mission Impossible or whatever it is Tom Cruise is doing again, the reason is because people like the character, and they know what's going to happen. None of us need to go see that movie. We know what's going to happen.
Right.
Right.
But it's the characters or whatever, and you get connected to it, and you want to be the hero. You want to be the person that's in the know. I think what I miss with all of this kind of binge watching type of thing is, and you already know what I'm going to say because we've talked about it before, is you used to watch an episode and talk about it. And then the following week it would come out. And so for the children who are listening to our show, possibly, we used to have 3 channels: NBC, ABC, and CBS. And you'd have PBS and whatever the other channels were. That
and if you watch Spanish channels, you had the Spanish channel.
Right, the Spanish channel. But you would watch, like, everybody collectively would pretty much watch the same things, especially if they were really popular, and you'd go the next week. Like, I remember X-Files, that was a big deal.
Oh my gosh, X-Files.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Now I think it's kind of horror. Like,
no, it's not.
Some of it is. Some of it is kind of like I try to watch
but you watch it.
Because I was in love with.
Is that what's happening?
I am old. I am. No, I've always hated horror. I've been saying
that is not horror.
Do you not see the
Do you see mine? But that is not horror.
Okay, wait. Let's talk. Okay, we're gonna have an argument. We're gonna have an argument. We need to have an argument because that will bring people in. So here it is. What I loved about X-Files, first of all, I was in love with David Duchovny. I'm just gonna say it straight up.
David Duchovny, I knew it.
But I did. I loved him. So, because I used to watch him on Twin Peaks. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but I watched Twin Peaks. Okay. And then he was on X-Files, and I loved it. And I love the kind of whole sci-fi part of it. I love the whole Deep Throat-esque thing, blah, blah, blah. What I didn't like was some of the horror. I'm calling them horror. Do you remember? It sticks in my head. Do you remember the brothers that lived in the house, and there was the one under the bed on that roller thing, and he was like, that's horror. That's still in my head to this day. It's been like 30 years. You know what I mean? It's still in my head. That is horror. So they had moments, and then they had those satanic ones. Remember when like people, that's what I'm saying. So they had sections of it, Alma, that were horror. Yes. Mario, I never want you to watch those because I understand
me and you, Alma.
You went to go see the movies with me.
No, I didn't.
The movies weren't horror, though. The movies.
I respectfully decline. It was not me.
Okay, but the movies aren't horror. The movies are not horror. It's
I don't like it. Like that's just.
You didn't like X-Files?
No, that's not my jam. I remember I was in college when it was coming on, and I used to hear the theme song, and it irritated me, and I just left the room.
Oh no, it's good. Just the horror episodes are bad.
I'm okay.
Because there's a difference between suspense and the horror part.
No, I'm good.
I'll put my 2 cents in. Mostly weird, very alienish a lot of times, but there were some gross stuff that seemed horror-esque.
You're gonna do it this way, Alma.
I saw gore and gook in.
There was gore and gook in some of them.
That's why I walked by the TV. I'm like, I'm not watching this shit. And I kept walking.
But a lot of the show is really about the kind of alien idea of the government hiding it. You know what I mean?
Cutting up.
Yeah, but no, it's not the same.
It's suspenseful. It's
Yeah,
suspenseful. There's a difference, but there are horror episodes. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you.
I think what I liked most was the dynamic between Scully and Mulder.
Character driven, good writing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was good. It was kind of like Twilight Zone in a lot of ways. There was a lot of kind of interesting, because you could watch some standalone episodes. So like it was like Twilight Zone, suspenseful, interesting, made you think. You know, it was kind of
like
good.
Black Mirror, like sort of.
No, not really. I don't know if you would say like Black Mirror. Would you? It's a little bit more.
Well, Black Mirror, it gives me Twilight Zone feels and vibes too. Depend because it's.
But I think X-Files is more sanitized than Black Mirror. Do you know what I mean? Like more, it's a little bit easier to take it. Also, it was like 1996 we're talking about. You know what I mean? So I don't even know if that was the exact year, but X-Files.
No, it was earlier than that. It was like 93, 94.
93, 94, yeah. So, but yeah, I think the movies are easy, because the reason why the movies I thought were not well done at all is because they tried to explain it to the general public, whereas the rest of us had already seen everything. We didn't need an explanation.
Exactly.
And see, I didn't like the show, so therefore I was not interested in the films. I was like, I'm good.
So Mario, did you not like X-Files? I'm not sure we got that clarity.
It was
I
Basuda.
loved it. It was my favorite show. I could not miss an episode. I have to go binge watch it again because I loved it so much. Oh my God.
Didn't they try to do a spinoff and it totally bombed?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
No, the
movies.
The
The
show.
movies were not that great. I don't know if there wasn't a spinoff of X-Files. Really?
I think there was.
Or at least an attempt.
I would have never even bothered, which
What
clearly
was
I
it called?
did
The
not.
Y-Files? Like, why did we make this?
The Y-Files.
Like, why are we doing this again?
I can't even leave you for that. That was really good. The Y-Files.
Don't encourage him.
I know, right? that was good. The Y-Files. No. Look, I think what we're kind of really saying is that story and character matter, and that we will go to the movie theater and we will watch it on streaming if it's good. And part of the problem is we're not marketed the good stuff or the things that maybe we should be seeing, which are indie films, because indie films don't have marketing budgets because they're not usually supported by the studios.
No.
And lower pricing of tickets.
I don't think that's going to happen. It's kind of saying you want lower ticket prices at Disney. That's never going to happen either. We're here now.
Well, now it's like they're in a catch-22 because not as many people. We need to make more money to make up for not as many people. So how can they do that?
Well, you know where movie theaters make most of their money, right? It's not from the ticket sale. It's the food.
Concession.
Which is weird that people, that's where they make their money. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant. Most restaurants, doesn't matter which one it is, they don't make their money off the food. They make money off the wine you buy, the liquor.
Well, and now they're serving alcohol at AMC. Shout out to AMC for the liquor.
I only go to the movie theaters like when I have to see a movie in the theater. Like I will go see his movie. No, I won't, because you guys have to tell me about how bad it is horror-wise.
Yeah.
Oh, Sinners.
Yeah, I would go see it because of him, or any Black movie I'll go see in the movie theater because I want to support. It's true. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really bummed what you said about the Viola Davis thing, though, in this movie.
Did you, I don't know if I watched, did you ever watch the documentary about Movie Pass?
No.
You have to go and take the time to watch that documentary. Movie Pass, I don't remember you guys, back in the day, we used to get it used to look like a little credit card and you can go to the movies. And this was before we had Stubbs Club and all that stuff. You could use your Movie Pass at any movie theater to buy your ticket for less value, for a cheaper
less cost.
Well, actually, we would pay like $10 a month. And you could go to a movie. So it was level. So $10 a month, you could go once a week, any movie, anytime. It didn't have to be a matinee, whatever. It could be first run, whatever. And you would just swipe your card and go to the movie.
So
okay, go ahead.
And it went under, but it was started by two Black men, and it was then stolen, and now he's trying to get it back. And it's a great story of what streaming, how really streaming kind of started. But they really are kind of the catalyst, but they had a great strategy, bad planning. And they became millionaires on the stock market and lost it all because it was stolen from him. And I really suggest anyone really take a look at the documentary. It's called Movie Pass, the documentary. And it was very insightful, not only about streaming, about these memberships, and also about marketing and the film business, and how they just didn't think it through. But it was the start of something great, but just didn't have the right foundation, if that's the best way to say it. So
yeah,
it reminds me of a movie called Founder. It's on Netflix, and it's about McDonald's and how it started with two brothers and it was stolen from them.
Same thing with movies.
Yeah.
So take a listen or take a watch.
I'm so sad now.
Well, it's your topic, ma'am.
No. I'm just kidding. Well, I didn't think we'd solve the problem, but it just bums me out. Racism seems to seep through into every part of our lives, and it just, it's hard to find joy in that, and I know we don't want to talk about it, but that's part of what's happening.
The joy is go to the movies and
support Brian Coogler
and support and try to get these films back in California.
Well, Gavin Newsom has to, that's why he's working on that, right? He's trying to get, we have to have tax incentives. I don't understand why we wouldn't do that anyways. But, if it's cheaper for me to make something in another state, I'm going to go make it in another state.
Right.
So we have to have the tax incentives here, and he's working on it. And so you want to make sure that you support legislators who are supporting that. But go to the movies.
Oh, you know what? To answer a question Cynthia asked earlier about binging or not, or weekly, for me, if it's something that I know nobody I know is going to watch, I'm not going to talk about it, but nobody, I'm definitely going to binge. I'd rather binge it because I'm not going to have nobody to talk about it with. But if it's something people are going to talk about a lot, then I'd rather watch week to week, because then you have to let it breathe a little bit, talk about it, think about it, to your eyes.
I miss that part of our lives, though. I know this is how I know I'm old. I really do miss watching a show, and the next day at work or with your friends, or when you pick up the phone, you're like, girl, did you see what happened?
Right. Right.
And don't miss it. Don't be late. Don't forget to record it.
And everybody else is talking about it.
Everybody else is talking about it.
You remember who shot JR? That whole I was so
mad. We have to wait for months. For months.
I remember at one place I worked at, they had a cafeteria, and everybody went to the cafeteria before they started working. It was a cool place. I would get to the table where most of my people were, and I'd sit down. Let me guess, you talking about The Sopranos? What happened last night?
Yes. Yes. I do miss it. And I feel like we have, I think that's why we're also isolated. It's not just social media. It's just everything we do is so solitary. There's no communal, the thing about movies that's great is that you do go into a theater with strangers and you enjoy something together, and there's something just uniquely beautiful about that,
Or going with your friends and then having dinner and talking about it afterwards, because that's something that we used to love to do. A group of us, we would all say, hey, you want to go to the movies and go to dinner? Or it was always movie and then dinner. We'd do an early movie, enjoy the movie, and go to have dinner and talk about the movie, and then laugh and catch up about everything else you've been, we don't do that. Our friends don't do that either, but we still have our friend group, but it's just not the same because we don't.
The last time I did that, which was really fun, was after Black Panther too. It was this kind of, we all got together, just talking. Oh, you couldn't have shut it. I'm glad I went and saw Black Panther first by myself. Then I went and saw it with Juliana, and then I went and saw it with a whole bunch of Black friends. So, those are three different experiences. Very different experiences.
Yes.
So,
I remember our friends, they all went and dressed up to go to see Black
Oh, I
Panther.
didn't do that, but that's nice. I
Yeah,
like it.
they all had their African garb on, their kente cloths, all that stuff, and they were all ready. And I didn't do all of that, but
I didn't do all that either.
But I appreciate it.
I appreciated it too.
Yeah, especially on social media, you just like
it was amazing. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out in the private lounge, and that was fun. I'm not sure we fixed anything, but maybe we gave people some hope and some homework.
We solved world hunger tonight. We did that. We did that.
We did?
We solved world hunger. We fed some people.
Conversation.
What was right. Of course we did. We did the big things. We did the big things.
We drilled some water tonight. It was
just going to say, find the joy however you watch your content.
Oh, I love this for us. Okay, thank you, everyone. Good night, everyone. And remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy.
All about the joy.
Bye. Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.